get your very own life-size spawn mat linked in the pinned comments. Like and subscribe right now or Grumble will literally come and eat you. Anyways, let's begin. Guiding Light is your partner in crime, which is 90% of the time because all your teammates just die. But what is this entity? Why is it our only ally? Guiding Light is the centerpiece of the entire Doors storyline. There's been so many new things revealed in the Floor 2 update. It's actually crazy. And I think it's finally time that we can piece together some sort of a story for this game. And I really need your help. So let me know in the comments what you think so that I can maybe get some ideas and get some support. So Guiding Light is literally your saving grace indoors, especially in Floor 2. As we see in Floor 2, during the Seek minecart chase, for an example, Guiding Light is literally the one who saves you from dying. Guiding Light pushes the minecart so that you don't fall to your doom and just die right there. So he literally saves you multiple times, and without him you would not be alive. But the exchange is mutual, and I want to get more into it. Guiding Light has also gotten an update in Floor 2, where upon dying you can see that Guiding Light is actually a crescent moon, and Curious Light is actually a star, which was hinted way back in Floor 1. And this makes me wonder what Mischievous Light could be based on, but more on Mischievous Light on its dedicated video. I'll also make a video on Curious Light. But Guiding Light, who's actually losing his powers, and in Floor 3 we might be backstabbing Guiding Light. Okay, so firstly, as we see the statue from Floor 1, well actually the statue which got a significant update isn't really Guiding Light himself. Instead, the crown we see is actually the Guiding Light angel. Well, we can all certainly agree that Guiding Light, Curious Light, and Mischievous Light are all angel beings. And the crown, well, it's not really an actual crown, but rather a biblically accurate angel. Now, the devs have stated that this game isn't focusing on any religious beliefs, but they are kind of contradicting themselves by literally adding a crucifix, which crucifies all evil creatures. But it doesn't have to follow any religious beliefs. They can always take inspiration. But the main point is, who exactly is Guiding Light, and how does he tie the entire story of Doors together? Well, Guiding Light, along with Curious Light and Mischievous Light, are all angelic beings who once served, well, I don't want to say served, but they were related to the figure we see as the statue. As Floor 3 comes out, it's gonna cover the whole castle saga for the Doors storyline. But whose castle are we actually going inside? Guiding Light? Well, not really. Why would an angelic being have a castle? Why doesn't Curious Light or Mischievous Light not have a castle? And I don't think an angelic crescent moon being would need to rest his ass on a throne. So it leads me to believe that the person we see in the statue is actually the owner, or actually the king of the castle we're about to enter in Floor 3. So let's just call him the king for now. Now, in front of the king's statue, we see something written in the Wingding font, and it translates to the word limbo. Now, limbo means a state of nothingness. It means to be separated from reality. So, perhaps the king is stuck in a limbo. This is quite literally blatantly written in front of his statue. Like, bro literally has a castle and his own statue made of him. He also has a sick sword. Now, how does this all tie into Guiding Light? And also, I want to throw in Mischievous Light into the mix to ask the grand question: who trapped the king into a limbo, and what are the purpose of each of the angelic lights? Well, staying true to his name, Guiding Light was assigned to the task of guiding the king. On the other hand, Mischievous Light and Curious Light, I want to cover them in a separate video, so our focus is Guiding Light for now. Well, Guiding Light, after losing the king, who's now trapped in an endless limbo, which I speculate and kind of have proof to back this claim up, was actually trapped by Mischievous Light himself. Guiding Light's only hope is you, the player. So Guiding Light does everything he can in his power to help you. He helps you escape from death, and he recognizes you as the only one who can stop Mischievous Light's schemes. He helps you escape the hotel and escape the mines, and then reach floor 3, the castle, where we can finally get some more storyline information in floor 3, which is gonna come out in like 3 years. But I think this is where Guiding Light is losing his powers and becoming weaker and weaker. So as we can see, after a door closes, you can see Guiding Light protects you from the previous room's entity, but at the end it turns red, as if Mischievous Light is overriding Guiding Light's powers. I'm not saying Guiding Light is the red Mischievous Light, but I'm saying he's getting weaker. Let me introduce to you what spiritual symbol is on the ground, which appears when you use the crucifix against any spirit demon. The symbol is known as the Seal of Solomon, which has the power to command demons. And I know the devs have stated that the game isn't going to be following any particular religion, but this isn't about religion itself. It's more about there being two more celestial, just like Guiding Light. In the symbol, there's actually something written in the Winding font saying one of the 3 artifacts marked by celestials assists you. This confirms that the crucifix is marked by Guiding Light, who is a celestial being, and it also confirms that there are more than one celestial other than Guiding Light. So it's confirmed that there's 3 artifacts for the 3 celestials: the crucifix for Guiding Light, the barrel of starlight for Curious Light, which was actually added into the floor 2 update, and that item helps you become really powerful for 2 minutes. And in floor 3 we might see some artifact for Mischievous Light, which is yet to come, and that could be our main item in floor 3, the castle, where we can fight against Mischievous Light or even Guiding Light. I believe that the Guiding Light's true purpose isn't to help you, cause you're just some loser who can't even beat floor 1.
What did he say?
I believe that Guiding Light is staying true to his purpose of serving or helping the king. He needs your help in order to set the king free. That's why he goes into such lengths to protect you. And in floor 3, we can most definitely expect to find more stuff about the king, as we are literally entering his castle, and we might even finally meet Mischievous Light. But actually, we have already met Mischievous Light, who's also the reason we cannot crucify the damn Seek at the end of floor 2. The king. Now, you might be wondering, who the crap is the king? Now, the king is actually a theory of mine, and let me explain. So, in floor 1, after door 90, the courtyard section of the game, which recently got an update, and it looks completely different now, and it has a lot of lore added to it, as well as secrets. Now, one in particular is the statue, which was also updated. Now, the statue was previously seen as Guiding Light's statue, but after the update, it tells us a lot more, and I can confidently say that the statue isn't Guiding Light, as we already know that Guiding Light is a celestial body, and he's actually the crescent moon, and Curious Light, who's the star. Now, the next door floor is the castles, and if you're entering a castle, the castle must have a king. Like, that's an obvious thing. So my theory is that this courtyard section of the map was actually a part of the castle, and the castle had the statue for the king. But since we all know that the floors like hotel, the mines are all connected as we rise from the mines and then enter the castle at the end of floor 2. Now my theory is this statue isn't Guiding Light, but rather the statue of the king, who is now stuck in a limbo according to the stone tablet in front of him. And the 3 items attached to the king are the 3 celestials. Previously, I said that this is a biblically accurate angel, but I was wrong. And this literally looks like Seek. Even in the game files, it's called eyelids. So the crown thing could represent Seek or Mischievous Light. who is literally covering the king's eyes, and that's very intentional. And the wing and the sword could represent Curious Light or Guiding Light vice versa. Now, due to some events, the king is now stuck in a limbo along with Guiding Light, Curious Light, and Mischievous Light, who were once celestial bodies like the star and the moon, and now, due to some event, they are nothing but particles, and only after you die do you see them talk to you directly. Now, this is just a theory, so take this with a big grain of salt. The Vine Creature. So in floor 2, door 152, we explored the place a little. If we explore the place of Jeff's shop, we can see that there's actually a vine creature who is really suspicious. Now, the vine that can be seen holding a broken lamppost, who El Goblino actually comments on the vine being sus, and El Goblino drops big lore for the players. Now, the vines can also be seen in floor 1's courtyard. The courtyard also has one of these vines which stretches for a long path. The devs have said that the courtyard holds a lot of secrets. Now, it is speculated that from what the devs have said, the snare entity could be the vine creature. The devs have stated that the snare entity isn't just one mob, but rather a network of mobs. The snare mob could be the vine creature, and that could be just a prelude of what's to come in floor 3. We can finally see the real head of the snare mob, and who knows, maybe it will be the boss for door 350. Alright, Seek is single-handedly the hardest entity indoors. He literally has black hair force energy. Bro has the dog in him. Now, Seek in floor 1 seemed like just another entity that blocked your path. But now, after seeing the ending for floor 2, Seek might be the big bad of all of doors. But there might actually be someone else behind the scenes who's even more powerful than Seek, and how Mischievous Light is actually behind everything. And in this video, I'll cover just that. So, Seek we see at the end of floor 2 after he infects the giant Grumble with his goo. He looks at you menacingly. So, first thing I actually want to cover is the Seek family tree. Now, the devs have stated that Seek has no shape or form, so he takes the form he thinks is best in order to kill the player. Like we see the humanoid Seek at floor 50 as well as floor 200. We also see the damn Seek with its other creatures that we have to fight against in floor 200. Seek can take any shape or form. Now, from what we know, the Giggles we've discovered in floor 2 in the mines are actually smaller and younger versions of Grumbles according to Guiding Light. The Grumble are like an ant's colony. There's a queen Grumble and there's 4 other Grumbles who are normal males, and they serve the queen. The queen is actually way faster and stronger, and we see her with 8 tentacles at the end of floor 2. Now, the queen gives birth to Giggles who are all over the mine. And if you put the Giggles and the Screeches side by side, you can see that they're quite literally the same creature. But Screech is just infected by Seek. We actually have evidence of this. In floor 150, we see all these dead Giggles who are infected by Seek, and they look exactly like Screeches. So, we can evidently check the box that Screeches are just infected Giggles, as from what we saw at the end of floor 2. Seek infects the queen Grumble, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to deal with the giant Seek infected Grumble in floor 3, which makes Seek the all-powerful indoors. But what if I told you that Seek is actually controlled by Mischievous Light, and that Mischievous Light is behind everything and Seek is just another pawn in its game? So, we all know that there's 3 celestial beings. From the encrypted writing on the crucifix, the 3 amulets in the generator room, which are colored after the 3 celestials, Curious Light, Guiding Light, and Mischievous Light. And finally, this is confirmed by the painting we see in floor 1, where we can see Curious Light, who's a star, Guiding Light, who's a crescent moon, and we also see the red Mischievous Light, who actually has the symbol of the modifiers. And it could be true that Mischievous Light is actually Mischievous Light himself, as well as the modifiers, because the modifiers are intended to make the game harder, which is quite literally what Mischievous Light means. So Mischievous Light and the modifiers can be the same thing at the same time. So we might have actually been fighting against Mischievous Light all this time, and here's my proof. Alright my friends, I've taken some feedback from the past Doors videos, and I've come up with a great theory for the entire Doors storyline, and this might be crazy. So hopefully Red watches these videos again and comments what he thinks. Alright, our big bad enemy isn't Seek or Figure or even Grumble, but rather it is none other than Mischievous Light himself or herself. Now, a lot of you have pointed out that, oh, Mischievous Light is the light known as the modifiers. Well, it could be true, but I'm not denying that. Mischievous Light can be the modifiers as well as the evil entity of Doors at the same time, as literally modifying the game makes it harder, which is quite literally what Mischievous Light's existence is meant to be, making it impossible for the player to actually beat the game. So Mischievous Light and modifiers are the same things, no problem with that. But how is that connected to anything related to the Doors storyline? Well, a lot actually. Quite literally, Mischievous Light as well as Guiding Light are the centerpieces of the entire lore for Doors. Now, I've said this before that we have already seen Mischievous Light in action. In fact, we see him all the time. And no, I'm not talking about the modifiers here, but what I'm about to show you will make you wonder that everything was right under our noses all this time. Okay, so when we first encounter Seek, we see him become from literal goop to a humanoid creature. But Seek was confirmed by the developers that he doesn't actually have a body and can take the shape of literally anything, even your grandma. And that's been proven by the damn Seek we see at floor 2, door 200. So if Seek is actually nothing but a raisin or just black goop in general, then how does he take a humanoid form? Or how is he even the main villain of Doors, as we see from the ending of floor 2? Seek is quite literally pissed and he's hunting you down personally, even to the point he's taking down the Queen Grumble and infecting her. But what if I told you Seek isn't the main villain, but rather it's actually all Mischievous Light's doing? So every time we see Seek appear indoors during the Seek chase, you can always see that he has a red glow to him. Every time you encounter Seek, the red light is always there. Now, I believe that Seek doesn't have a shape or form, but it is rather Mischievous Light who is controlling Seek and giving Seek the shape of the entities, as we see the humanoid form, the damn Seek form, as well as some smaller Seek creatures at door 200. And it is also Mischievous Light that is turning all the Giggles and Grumbles into Screeches as more Seek creatures. And I have proof of this. So during the ending cutscene for floor 2, when Seek literally kills the Queen Grumble, we see him cover her in Seek goop, which maybe in floor 3 we get to fight the actual infected Grumble. So during the ending cutscene for floor 2, when Seek literally kills the Queen, and after infecting the Queen, he emerges. But if I slow down the footage, you can see the red light appear again as the Queen Grumble is infected. As mentioned before, Mischievous Light is controlling Seek and turning everything to another Seek creature, as only a celestial being, according to mythology, can create life. And that is exactly what Mischievous Light is doing. He is creating life. Mischievous Light is one of the 3 celestials we see in this painting, along with Guiding Light and Curious Light. So I have a theory that the statue we see in floor 1, which was actually updated in floor 2, represents the king and his 3 calamities. We see the king who is now stuck in a limbo, as written from the stone tablet, written in the winding font. We can also get some reassurance from the 3 switches we see in the beginning of floor 2. The generator requires the power of all 3 amulets, and they're all colored red, blue, and yellow, just like the 3 celestials. Maybe all 3 celestials' powers are required to bring back the king, who the king used to have 3 of these celestials by his side. Due to some event, the king is now stuck in an endless limbo, leaving these 3 celestials behind. And the only way to break the king out from the limbo that he's now stuck, leaving his 3 celestials behind, and the only possible way to break the king out of the limbo is to use all 3 celestial architects on the king. Perhaps like the crucifix for guiding light, the vial of starlight for curious light, and some new architect for mischievous light, which is yet to come out. As we see, the crucifix has the hidden writing written in the winding font, which translated says one of the 3 architects marked by celestials assists you. Mischievous light, who always craved blood, staying true to his name, creating monsters to take control and power all over reality. Curious light, being the laid-back celestial that he is, doesn't really care about anything. And guiding light, always being the righteous and being by the side of the king, helps you go through the right path. We can see that the creatures like Seek and Figure are actually created by celestials. Note that in rooms, if you take a crucifix with you in rooms, the crucifix is gonna say, "This feels lighter than usual," and you cannot crucify any of the mobs or entities that spawn in rooms. I predict that Figure was actually created by Curious Light, as he emits a yellow aura, who's also tasked with protecting the library where all the place of knowledge actually resides. And Seek, of course, created by Mischievous Light. And this can be proven when we go to crucify Seek or Figure. They both get stopped, but they don't die. But rather, the spell of the crucifix is broken as it turns red. They're only temporarily stopped. So, in floor 3, we will most definitely see more from Mischievous Light, as he finally thinks of you as a challenge from what we saw from the ending of floor 2. Seek, controlled by Mischievous Light, is going to hunt you like a damn dog in floor 3. God knows how hard floor 3 is going to be. Gloombats. Gloombats are actually quite interesting. They can be found all throughout the mines, inside eggs, and they hate light and will attack anything that has a little bit of a glow in order to protect their offsprings, which are the eggs. Now, the Gloombats are actually neutral entities, which means they don't attack the player instantly if they see them. Gloombats also lay eggs on dead bodies of players, which is just truly gross. But if a player dies in a Gloombat infested room, they instantly lay eggs on the player. Now, the Gloombats are food for Figure. Figure actually eats the Gloombats as food, meaning Figure is actually a natural predator of the Gloombats. Now, that was a lot of headcanoning and guessing and piecing in puzzles that I found fitting for the narrative from the king and the castle, as well as Mischievous Light. So obviously, this is all a theory, a game theory. So let me know what you think in the comments, and be sure to like the video and subscribe, and also go watch these 2 videos.